family, subscribers to the YouTube channel, Adventuring with the S.G.O.C.C. We got a little bit of a treat for you. We're going to give you a tour of Bisbee. Now, we were going to do the mining museum, but as predicted, no video allowed. We'll find a way to sneak a video out of there, though. Trust us. So Bisbee used to be a mining town. There's a huge mine here. It's surrounded by mines, and there's a huge pit mine behind us. What we're showing you is this part of a company town is that the company owned everything. When you worked for the mine, you got credits, and you used your credits at the company store, paid for company housing. Everything was owned by the company. That was Bisbee. Bisbee was a company town. So on the right over here, the brick structure with the metal roof, I believe that was the school, because it's still owned by the school district. Here's a little motel of old Airstream traders and what have you. It's been turned into a motel. Here's the office. They've got some old cars. You may recognize this little car here. This is a Nash Metropolitan. If you go back to our wrecking yard video at Fort Auto Parts, there was a whole stack of them, about 9 or 12, I think. Old Ford COE panel wagon, an old Chevrolet truck, something called Dot's Breakfast Lunch Diner, and the Bisbee Cemetery, or what we call the Marble Orchard. Now, my legs are killing me. New footwear, so we're not going to venture out into there, but you can see a great big white marble obelisk that signifies somebody of some such power or prestige. And this is called the Evergreen Cemetery, Bisbee, Arizona. Now, as we proceed here, this is, as I said, this was a company town. So this is something called the Arizona Company.
It's like a power company.
Yeah, up
Lightning
above
bolt.
it says ICE, so it may be an old ice house, or an electric company, or an electrical station. Don't know. Not terribly familiar with the history of Bisbee. Here's an old row house that's all garages, and in the distance you can see some more mining gear, mining equipment, mining buildings. That's part of a tramway that used to go up to there. And if you look up there, that's a manufactured hill. That is all tailings from an underground mine that is absolutely enormous. We're talking miles of underground, and that's where they dump the tailings. You can see beyond this structure, where the wheel's on top, that's all evenly laid out, so that's all tailings too. Bisbee is literally surrounded by mines. Still more of the Marble Orchard, quite extensive. Oh, and there's a howitzer.
Where?
Right there, next to the flag and the monument.
But you can drive in.
Yeah, do we want to see more mine? Tell you what, leave a note in the comments. If you want us to come back, we'll do a drive-through from Evergreen Cemetery and get out and walk around. We'll see what that white obelisk was all about. Or tell us to do more mining stuff from Bisbee. So you let us know, because we're here at your behest. We love every one of our subscribers, and the fact that you guys dig what we do is just really cool. See how far we can go before we got to turn around. And we're going to end up driving through Bisbee. Bisbee, the other part of Bisbee, the non-mining portion, is like a hippie kind of a place. There's a lot of little shops, a lot of little restaurants, cafes, little hippie shops. It's hippie in the cool way of being hippie, if that makes any sense. Well, check out that old Jeep, man. That reminds me of like the Philippines or Hawaii. Lavender Jeep Tours. That's cool. So the reason lavender is
Happy 4th of July!
The reason lavender has something to do with Bisbee is because that big pit mine that I was telling you all about is called the Lavender Pit, and it's enormous. It's like half a mile deep, maybe deeper. We'll find the predictors on it, but it's pretty deep. And So the lavender pit, so if they have lavender tours here, that's why the connection to lavender. It's not just a pretty purple color, although it is. So there's a lot of older homes here. To the right, you can see, as Bisbee was a mining town, there is a lot of mining structures and older neighborhoods that are still around. It wasn't that long ago that Bisbee was not a mining town anymore. So I see the top of some more structure. We're back at the highway, so we're going to go left up this road. You can see this is except for
If anybody ever wants to donate, we'd love a shop like that one.
yeah. So this is all older housing, 50, 60 plus years old, easy, maybe older. It's well kept up. It's,
Oh, real quick. What did the buffalo father say to the child?
I have no idea.
Bison.
You and your dad jokes. That's kind of funny though.
I actually got Erica to laugh on that one. She don't laugh at many.
I like Erica's dry sense of humor. So if you look to the right, you'll see another piece of derrick equipment from a mine. It's literally surrounded.
It's I don't know if you guys can see it. It's way over there. It's got the wheels on it still. It's up above the tree line.
So Arizona's got a bunch of cute little communities. This one happens to be a bright green, lime green house for sale from Arizona Home Stores.
So if you're looking for a place in Bisbee,
There you go.
there's one for sale.
And if you don't like that one and you want a
minor fixer-upper.
a fixer-upper,
A minor fixer-upper. Ooh,
There's
that's a
this
good
one.
view.
It is. So you can see there's the derrick, the mine buildings, and as we turn slightly left, if Tim pans to the right, you'll see a whole raceway for water to come through and get to the wash to stop erosion.
Whereas kids during the wintertime,
Hey man, that's a good battery. Just needs it's a good flashlight. Yeah, that's a fixer-upper. Probably get it for pennies on the dollar.
and look at the size of this hill.
That's all man-made, brothers. and
Tailings.
sisters. All man-made from underground mine works.
And one of the reasons why it's so red, that's iron ore.
Iron oxide. There's an old saying, if you want to find gold, you find iron. Because gold rides an iron horse. It's an old saying, and it holds pretty true.
Ugh.
A lot of those old timers had old sayings, and they made sense for a reason. And the reason is they knew their shit. And you can see now, when I first announced the video and opened it up and said there was a big mine works behind us, that's the tailings from the mine works. Now, we're going to go past the lavender pit so I can allow Tim to get out and show you how deep it is. Bisbee at one time was the biggest copper mine in the world. Bisbee at one time was the biggest city in Arizona because of the Lavender Pit copper mine. There's also gold, silver, platinum, all kinds of stuff being mined out of around Bisbee. It's not just copper, it's not just gold, not just silver, it's literally everything. So, passing by the school again.
And it's an active working school. Go Jaguars!
Lowell. Marble Orchard on the right. So, there's a...
Oh, you're going to go through the little town?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a cute little town here. So, how are we going to do this? Yeah, we're going to bend the rules here a little bit. So,
I didn't see nothing.
So this is a little community that's literally right on the edge of the Lavender Pit. It used to be a Greyhound station.
Lowell Police Department?
Old police department station.
2 police cars.
The town is called Lowell. It's in the middle, it's in a pocket of Bisbee. But all the time, there's all these old cars that are parked here. all these storefronts that are kept up. It's an interesting place to do a walking tour. A lot of old buildings. Here's the old Harley Davidson shop. The gas pumps out front.
Look at those Indians.
Spruce rights. I mean, it's an old community that's really fun to just walk around. Old buildings, old vehicles. It's very period correct. So here's the tailings going from my extreme.
Hang on a second. I've actually eaten at this Bisbee Breakfast Club, and they have some pretty decent food.
So from my extreme left is the tailings. Now these aren't just tailings from the lavender pit. This is stuff that's been pulled out of the lavender pit, pulled out of the hills. The Queen Mine is up beyond this hill. The Queen Mine goes in to that huge hill system, and there's a system of mine shafts at different levels. But I'll drive over here to the edge of the pit so that you can see how big this dig is. It's enormous. So we're pulled right up to the edge. Across from here, and I'll let Tim get out because this is pretty wild. So this is where they pulled all the copper out. There's another mine in Montana that was equally as popular as this. However, this ore that came out of this mine was just far, far superior. It was better quality ore and provided more copper, which is why Bisbee is so famous and so good. So Tim's going to take you right to the edge of that fence and show you how deep it is. That's over a mile from there. Those are the stamp mills across the highway. No longer used, obviously. And also, if you look at this sign here, it says no trespassing, keep out. This entire mine complex is still owned by Freeport McMoran copper and gold mines. So this is still, it could be reactivated if they could get past all the idiotic regulations.
Enviro-Nazis?
Yeah, the Enviro-Nazis get out of the way. They could open this mine up again. It's still a very lucrative mine. It got to the point where they weren't making enough money to justify all the Uber regulations that they were throwing at. More mine buildings behind here. All of this behind. This is all tailings and digs behind here. Essentially this goes all the way to Gleason. And in our Gleason video, we outlined that road that takes you to Bisbee. But this is it. This is the way. Tremendous amount of mining in the Bisbee area. And there's still mines operational. If you go to Old Bisbee, you'll see that on the Mexican side, there's a bunch of mining going on. As I said, this mine is a mile across, 3/4 of a mile the other direction, and it many hundreds of feet deep. And you can see up on the hill there's tailings. There's another mine shaft way up there. All of this is digs on our right. So when you dig copper, gold, silver, when you dig stuff out of the ground, you don't end up with gold coins. Eventually you do, but what you get is ore. Ore is many different types of rock all stuck together with your mineralization. it has to go into a stamp mill, and all that is great big pieces of iron smashing the ore into little bitty pieces so it can be separated from the rock. Then they take the minerals, gold, silver, platinum, copper, whatever, and it goes into a smelt where they cook it, and it cooks down to the actual what you want out of the ore. Once you get it to then you can make it into coins or copper tubing or silver coins or whatever. Now this is still part of the lavender pit. If you look closely where my fingers are pointing, you can see openings in that wall that lead to some of the other mines. The Copper Queen mine is right there. It goes into that hill at, I think there's a dozen different levels. Tim's taken the tour, he and Erica and Cassie, when they first moved here, and it's quite something. You get on a train and you go into the mountain, and by into the mountain I mean you go way into the mountain. There's the Copper Queen where you can take the tour, is right over there. If you follow my finger. And we're going to drive
I have it on wide.
Okay, we're going to drive through Old Bisbee, which is where all the hippies and the tourists go.
Old Bisbee!
So there's the opening to the Copper Queen, where that concrete is and that great big steel door. Maybe one day we'll take that tour. What do you think? Leave a note in the comments. Let us know what you'd like to see. So you can tell by this bus here on my left. Yeah, this is a hippie community. It's cool hippies, but it's still hippies.
Vulcan Pottery, the Block Hotel. Happy 4th!
All kinds of really cool stuff. It's filled with really cool buildings, businesses, people. And remember, folks, we're almost a mile high at this elevation. So if you're going to come here for a visit,
they've got lots of bars.
Here's some old mining cars.
Great restaurant. This is part of the
Oh goodness, she's stunning.
Bisbee. This is part of the Bisbee Museum.
Which we couldn't go into because although we have the money to take a tour, they don't allow videos. So more restaurants, more shops, more this, more that. This is actually a park where they have stuff during the summer. So
Oh, they have it closed off. You got to go that way.
Oh, look at that. A ditcher. Well, I guess because of a ditcher, we can't go that way anymore.
There's our.
Oh, that's right. There was a big fire in Bisbee and a building burned. I forgot about that.
Was it really?
Yeah. Here's some more little shops. You can tell by looking at these structures, like the back of this building on my left. This is all a brick structure. They faked these blocks on the bottom, but this is all old stuff. Here's a porch that was built with old timbers. Ahead of us is an old brick building that says the American Lions Club. I think it's Lions. Well, maybe not. Oh, American Legion Club. There you go. You don't normally see the backside of all these buildings. All these buildings front Main Street. This is just the back alley stuff. So since Bisbee is an old community built in a hill, basically, there's a lot of really narrow streets, really cute little houses that it would do better to walk around the neighborhoods and all this stuff. Yeah, we'll drive by that if we can to show you where the building burned. So there's a story you can look up all about the Bisbee massacre, where a couple of people did some bad stuff here one night, robbing and killing. And what happened was Tombstone, which was the Cochise County seat at the time, sheriffs came down here and arrested some people. They took them back to Tombstone. There was a lynch mob, and they lynched them all. And it came to be known as the Bisbee Massacre, or the Tombstone Massacre.
Oh, one other thing. We're willing to do any kind of sponsorship. Hint, hint.
Peace Tea, Rockstar, whoever. Here's the inn at Castle Rock. There's actually a creek that runs down in front of there. And you can see the bridge going to this little house. This creek runs all through town and kind of meanders, goes from the left side to the right side. There's just all this old structure and building and houses. Here's an old foundation to the right. A lot of stairs like you'd see in some California hippie communities to get up to these houses. By the middle of the day, all this parking will be filled because this is a
Tourist town.
bunch of tourists that come visit here.
And the old church.
I'm going to pull over because this truck behind us looks like he wants to go around.
Didn't we do a video? Or we thought about doing a video on the churches?
Yeah, I think we did. So up above here, we might as well drive up there. This is what I call Church Hill. So there's all these little restaurants and markets and little shops and stuff over here. But all of this structure, St. Patrick Church there in the front. I think this is the city hall. Bisbee is the actual county seat now of Cochise County. There's all these old buildings. Old buildings interest me a lot because you can see, look at the scroll work above those third-story windows. This is this beautiful rotunda. You just don't see this sort of thing in modern buildings. They just don't do it. This building was built before the building in the back was, but you can still see they incorporated some really cool, happy 4th, brother, some really cool detail in the building. They just don't do that with modern buildings. They just they consider it a waste of time. This is part of the Catholic school that we just passed. Now we're getting into neighborhoods, and here's a typical of a Bisbee neighborhood. Really vertical, lots of stairs. It's not an easy town to walk, which is why I'm driving, but it's an interesting town to visit. Some decent sized houses, a lot of old style houses. See, this has almost zero parking in front. Stairs, I mean, you'll find this in parts of San Francisco. What do you think? A hippie house? Maybe.
And then you got houses way up there.
Yeah. It's an interesting community. I forget what they used to call those.
A horse?
Well, where they had wagons.
Yeah, carriage.
A carriage house. There you go. And you can see down there's the Circle K across there, and there's houses below us and around us and on top of us. So. Interesting stuff. A lot of turn of the century stuff, Queen Anne style. This one on the right, I believe, is a Queen Anne style house. It's the Brophy house, built in 1900. So it's a 124-year-old house. How about that?
Restored in 2008.
I think they did a really good job. That's well done. That's an old stone foundation right there. Look at that. That is some craftsmanship right there. I bet out of 1,000 people you couldn't find 2 that could do that nowadays.
No, millennials will be able to do it.
Not with 2 tutors and an instructor. So we're going to go back across the main road and go past that fire. And then go back through that alley. After we pass by where the fire is, that'll be the end of the video. But if you ever get the chance, you find yourself in southeast Arizona, hey man, come visit Bisbee. Bring the wife, bring the kids, make it a walking tour, enjoy a nice meal at a restaurant. There's a lot of history here, big time mining history, which is all good. It's just a great place to visit. A lot of these side streets you can just walk up and check out the architecture. And oh, this is part of this stairway here, and Erica did this. That's the part of the Bisbee 1,000 stair climb. That's 1,000 stairs that just keeps climbing and going up past old buildings, old houses.
So that's where it starts.
That's where it starts.
Yeah, Erica and Cassie did it
2-3 years ago.
last year.
Yeah. It's quite an achievement. It really is. I mean,
They did it too.
It's 1,000 stairs vertical. You got landings every now and again, but I certainly couldn't do it. With Tim's lungs, he might have trouble doing it.
Well, maybe if I took an inhaler with me.
Yeah. Here's that creek that goes across with the walking bridge to this inn on the right. Old army truck. A lot of old architecture, old buildings. Bisbee is an old town that they've preserved
The Royale.
as a tourist destination. It's really cool that they did preserve it and not just bulldoze it and make everything brand new, which I think is disgusting as a former builder and developer. I love old buildings, old architecture, old. It needs to be preserved.
The Bisbee District.
They've done it. All kinds of little cafes, shops. It's just a really cool place to visit. So you can see here where all this construction is. These two buildings burned.
Oh, it was these two buildings?
Yeah. That's the fourth road. A lot of art galleries, jewelry shops,
Clothing shops.
Cool stuff. Really cool stuff. So take the time, come visit Bisbee. It's the county seat of Cochise County, and there's just a lot to see and a lot to do. This will be the end of the video. Here's the old One Copper Queen Plaza, because the mine you can go into is called the Copper Queen Mine. The open pit mine is called the Lavender Pit. There's the differentiation of the two. Really fun town, really cool. Come visit us here in Bisbee.
Like, subscribe, share, comment. You know the goodies.
This
This has been a Fun Brothers production.